Welcome to the Four Bells Fitness Emporium. Here we are doing workout from home number 67. Today we have a glorious upper body day in the books on our abs and arms cycle. There's going to be a big focus on arms today, so prepare yourself for glorious pipes, six swans, whatever you want to call them. I don't know what kids are calling them these days. Pipes? Swans? I don't know, something. But it's going to be a great day for your arms. That's all we know, biceps and triceps. My camera person's like, I don't know either. Ask me. We are going to start today getting our shoulders ready for our strength piece today, which is going to feature some dips and some rows. We're going to use one of my all-time favorite movements to get us warm today. We are going to do the Turkish Get-up. So we're going to do 5 minutes of Turkish Get-up practice. As you can see, it says 1 rep on one side, 1 rep on the other. If you know anything about the Turkish Get-up, it starts on the floor, goes to standing and back down. That's 1 rep. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. And we encourage you today to try and get a little bit creative, particularly if you're at home. So that means look around you. What do you have that could really challenge your stability in a Turkish Get-up? So let's talk about all the steps that are involved in Turkish Get-up.
To warm up, we're going to do 5 minutes of Turkish Get-up practice. Remember, we're working on the upper body, so put a lot of intention into what the shoulders are doing, while also warming up the hips. You might be a little bit tight for Monday. Hopefully we can loosen up the legs a little bit as we go through this movement. If you have odd objects, this is not sponsored, but if you have something like this, perhaps like detergent or some salt, if you don't have a kettlebell or dumbbell available to you, you can use whatever you have in store. I'm going to put it flat so I can warm up my wrists a little bit here. From here, it's in my left hand, so my left leg is bent. My right leg and right arm are pointed 45 degrees off of my midline. From here, shoulders are nice and proud. I'm going to roll onto my elbow. Press into my hand. Send the hips up. From here, keeping my eye on my shaker, I'm going to send my knee through, getting it underneath my hip. From here, eyes stay on. Get nice and proud through my shoulder. Chest up. Turn the foot and stand up. From here, I'm going to reverse it. Reverse lunge on the right. Turn the hip open, hand comes down, creating that nice triangle. Leg comes through, butt down, elbow down, body down. That's 1. From there, I go to the other side, like this. And you're going to repeat this for 5 beautiful minutes. Cheers.
With our strength piece today, we have 5 sets. Each set is 3 minutes long, split into 2 90-second windows of time. In our strength piece today, we are looking at dipping. Can we do dips? Where are we doing them? How are we doing them? And we're also going to look at single arm or unilateral rowing patterns, depending on what you have available to you. So in our first 90 seconds, we're going to do dips for 10 reps today. So we're going to go over a few different options of how you can do dips at home. Ideally, if we can, we're trying to make each set progressively more challenging. If that is not available to us, what I want to think about then is getting to a point where like those 10 reps are tough and keeping the quality the same throughout. Particularly if you're using your whole body weight, or some of our more advanced guys will have a weighted belt with weight attached to them. With that in mind, we're trying to keep the quality. I don't want to all of a sudden go from sets of 10 reps to sets of 5 and then 4 and then reps all over the place with the sad fitness tier. So sets of 10 is what we are looking for. In our next 90 seconds, we're doing 1-arm ring rows. Of course, that could be a TRX row, could be a ring row, could hold onto a piece of rope. Essentially what we're looking for is some kind of suspension strap to really challenge anti-rotation through the core. Kind of keep a nice tight plank position as I'm doing my body weight rows. Of course, if we don't have that available, we could do some other kind of 1-arm row. That could be like a Meadows row with a barbell, or it could be with a single kettlebell or dumbbell in a bent over row fashion. So we'll talk about those. Either way, with both of these exercises, we're trying to increase the intensity or keep the quality for our 5 sets. So let's talk about how they should look. For dips today, we are looking to do sets of 10 reps. So what I first of all is to look around my environment. What do I have available that I can do dips on? So the most common position we kind of see people doing during our Zoom classes is hands on a box or a bench or something that's kind of flat behind them. Nothing wrong with doing that, but what we need to be mindful of is that when I start with the hand already behind me, it puts me in a position of extension through the shoulder before I've even tried to stress the shoulder in any way. So listen to how the shoulders feel. If you're finding that feels a bit mean for you, then we're going to talk about other options when we can go in between objects. So if I have my hands on the bench, I want to have my hands just either side of my hips. I'm going to move the feet forwards. Maybe I'm going to start with the knees bent, and I'm trying to get the shoulder below the elbow if possible. From there, I lock out the arm, making sure that I'm not shrugging up to the ears. Shoulders are away from the ears. So I'm going to perform a few reps. Maybe if that's easy, I'm going to have the legs straight. Maybe if that's easy, I'm going to put my feet on the box or elevate them somehow, some way. So if a bench is a little bit spicy for your shoulders, we recommend having two objects to put your hands on. So if you're in the gym like us, we are blessed in the gym with these lovely dip bars, but it also means that my body can move through the object that I'm trying to dip on rather than having my hands in extension behind me. So with that in mind, if you have dip bars, cool. If you don't have dip bars, then I'd say maybe 2 boxes or 2 chairs or something you can put your hands on that aren't going to slide out from you. This allows me to not start in a position of extension. I've got my hands by my hips, and it means I just take a little bit of pressure off the shoulder as I'm performing my dips. Again, if this is easy for you, raise the feet up. If you've got a friend at home who can maybe help you, put some plate weights on your lap. Otherwise, if you are very lucky, maybe you've got a higher dip bar doing some body weight dips. And if you're a real dip ninja, maybe you're going to have a weight belt with some plates attached to you. Either way, we're doing dips for 10 reps today.
For the second strength movement, we're going to be doing 10 and 10 ring or TRX or some kind of, hopefully, strap, or if you have to, getting a kettlebell or dumbbell, single arm rows. Some of you have rings, but a lot of you are blessed with the lovely TRX. One of the things that does happen when you do single arm rows with the TRX is you get this kind of slidey thing. And it can be a little bit scary if you lean back and put your body weight and trust that it shifts like that. So one of the ways to alleviate that is to do the thread the needle twice technique to set up your TRX. So I'm going to take this left handle, I'm going to put it through this top triangle of my TRX. And now I'm going to take the now new left handle, all right, which was originally the right, and thread it through again. From here, that handle that I just threaded through, I'm going to pull on it a couple times, make sure it's nice and tight, kind of like a mustache there. And now I'm all set up for my single arm row. I feel safe, I feel like I can get into a good position here. From here, everything that goes into a quality 2-arm row is going to go into my single arm row. Making sure my shoulders and hips are square, I'm not letting it twist or go off to the side, engaging my lats and keeping my neck and face nice and calm. From here, I drive that elbow back, keeping the core nice and tight. I'm going to do 10 reps on one side, 10 reps on the other. Remember, I'm not coming up and then just getting lazy. Right? I keep the tension through my lats, keep the shoulder down. I can even put my hand up to mimic as if I was doing 2-hand. All right? Similar principle if I'm using a ring. Everything's the exact same. I set up to make it more challenging. I just walk my heels closer to the wall, up and down, like that. If I don't have a ring, or I don't have a TRX, I'm going to grab a weight. I'm going to go into a bent over single arm row. So from here, feet are hip width apart. I hinge down. This is going to challenge the posterior chain a little bit more. Shoulders are backing down, and I row for 10 reps. Again, not getting dramatic here, not rounding the back. Under control. Engage the lat, and drive that elbow back. 10 on one arm, 10 on the other. We go back to dips.
For the conditioning piece today, is short and sweet. It's basically, to put it as simply as possible, all the triceps and all the abs. There's no other way of putting it. It's almost like we're in an arms and abs cycle. So prepare yourself for army and abby glory. In our 8-minute AMRAP, I'm going to start with 10 push-ups. So that could be push-ups on the toes. If you are an advanced person, maybe you're going to do triangle diamond push-ups. Or if you know that scale push-ups are more within your wheelhouse, then let's do some scale push-ups. That could be on a box, on a bench, or if you really don't have anything available to you today, it could even be on the knees. Controversial. From there, once my push-ups are done, I'm immediately going to go into 10 sit-ups. From there, once my 10 bodyweight sit-ups are done, I'm then going to come into 10 skull crushes. So that can be done ideally with 2 dumbbells, so we can save the face if anything goes wrong, but it could be done with a barbell, could be done with a slam ball or a sandbag. Basically, do skull crushes, but don't actually crush your skull. We're going to talk about how that should look in a second as well. Once the skull crushes are done, back into sit-ups. And then once we've done our 10 sit-ups, we start from the top again. Push-ups, sit-ups, skull crushes, sit-ups. We're going to go through that as many times as possible in 8 delightful minutes. The conditioning piece, 8 minutes of fun. We are going to do 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups, 10 skull crushes, and another 10 sit-ups. It's arms and abs day to be sure. When it comes to push-ups, we talk about positioning for push-ups all the time. It's not about today's workout showing everyone what a bad mofo you are. It's making sure that we have healthy shoulders that we can train with for the rest of our days. So as always, if we imagine our hands should be shoulder width, we're trying to bend that bar, externally rotate and corkscrew those hands into the floor. So whether I'm on my toes, on a box, on my knees, I should be making sure that I've got a nice tight plank position and I'm keeping those elbows nice and close to the body, protecting those shoulders. Once I've done 10 push-ups, I'm going to roll onto my mat dramatically. It's very dramatic, I enjoyed that. We're going to do 10 sit-ups. So I like to do vampire style, just to make sure that I'm not using my arms to throw forwards. Crossed arms, I sit up, touch the elbow to the knee, and I'm going to do 10 sit-ups. Once my sit-ups are done, skull crusher time. So with the skull crusher, ideally done with 2 dumbbells. So why ideally with 2 dumbbells over a barbell? Because if anything goes wrong, the dumbbells can come either side of my head and save my beautiful face. If we do use a bar, you can, don't be worried about that, but just be mindful of when you get tired, do not wreck your beautiful face. From here, all I'm thinking is I'm going to start with my knuckles to the ceiling, keeping my upper arm perpendicular to the floor. I just bend at the elbow, dumbbells come down to the ears or to the shoulder, and then I press back up. What I'm trying to avoid with my skull crushers is allowing the lats to do the work. So I don't want to come down and then go elbows first and then almost do like a little roll out tricep extension. Just hands coming down to the ears and then driving up. No sneaky elbow drive into bench press. From there, once I've done my skull crushes, it's just 10 sit-ups again. And that's each round. 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups, 10 skull crushes, 10 sit-ups again. We've got a lot of arms and abs to do before we get into our beautiful extra sauce. Extra sauce time. We are doing some work for the bicepticles today because they don't get much action. We need to make sure they get some action today. So we're going to do the old prone curl or a pronated bicep curl, which means we're going to have the palms facing down or away from us, however you'd like to look at it in pronation, which is going to put a little bit more emphasis on the forearm as well as the bicep. Why is that important? Is if we develop the forearm, actually gives more peak to our biceps. So if you're interested in having at least the appearance of bigger arms, you can't just be a supinated curler, you have to mix up all the curling variations available to you. We are going to do some curls today in a Tabata format, which means I'm going to work for 20 seconds and then I'm going to rest for 10 seconds. We're going to do that 8 times today in our little extra sauce finisher. Let's look at a few different variations of what you could do. With the finisher today, our extra sauce, we are going to do a Tabata interval. So that means it's going to be 4 minutes long, 8 intervals of 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest. So we're going to focus on pronation in our bicep curls. Last week we did supination. And what's the difference between using these different types of bicep curl? The idea is really we're trying to work the elbow flexors, the things that bend your elbow, in multiple different ways to make sure that we train the full joint. We're not just doing it in always supination. We're going to mix up to pronation, maybe even neutral or semi-supinated, however you like to call it. And also when it comes to bicep curls as well, it's not just always doing them standing. Technically, boring lecture aside, there is 9 types of bicep curl. Arm behind the body, arm in line with the body, arm in front of the body, and then pronation, neutral, and supination. That 3x3 matrix means there's 9 different types, and of course, you can use a whole multitude of different objects. For today's demonstration purposes, I'm going to use a pair of dumbbells, but you can also do this with just an empty barbell as well. As you know, with a Tabata, we're going to be doing a lot of reps, so the weight does not have to be crazy. So, I like to stand against a post, because it stops me from doing any crazy swinging around when I'm doing my bicep curls. I'm just going to lean against a post, but this could be the frame of a door, could be the wall. Palms face my legs. I'm going to curl up, knuckles to the shoulder, and then control back down. So you should feel pretty much straight away it's a little bit more in the forearms than it is in the bicep today, but they're all connected, they're all friends, they're all cousins, we're having a good time together. We're going to do 20 seconds of curls, followed by 10 seconds of rest for our wonderful 4-minute finisher today. Enjoy!